Hello there! In this video I will be doing something a little bit different because I will be recording a live coding session. Yes, that's right. In this coding session I will be building a Nuxt free app that will be powered by third-party GraphQL API. So I will be using the GraphQL Apollo and I will be styling the app with the Tailwind CSS, and we'll be also optimizing some images with the image module for Nuxt 3. Finally, if we will able, we will deploy the app to the Vercel. Let's go. Okay, welcome to this live part. So the plan is to build a simple application that will be powered by this API, the Rick and Morty API. They have both HTTP and the GraphQL API. And to build something similar to this one here. So we will be fetching the list of the characters from this show, displaying them in a nice way by using TailwindCSS and also the Nuxt Image. And when we click on this certain character, we will be redirected to that character full page. And basically that's it. And in the end, we'll also try to deploy this application to Vercel. So this Rick and Morty API, I already searched for the GraphQL one, and it comes with this really nice GraphQL or GraphQL playground that we can test to get the data we need. And going next, we have the Apollo. So I will be using the Nuxt Apollo module that was recently released with the support for Nuxt 3. But you can also use the Nuxt GraphQL client. This is another package that allows you to get to work with the GraphQL APIs. I will just move to here for easier later integration. I will be also using the Tailwind, the same module for Nuxt 3, and the image as well. In the image, because it comes with the many providers, as you can see here, I will be using the default one, the IPX, because I don't need any third-party image optimization or transformations. I just need the basic ones right here. So I already installed the app by using npx nuxt init, and I gave it a name Nuxt Apollo Tailwind. So when we run the project, it should display to us the simple Nuxt welcome component. Let's just see. Yeah, it works. So the last step, as I mentioned, will be to just deploy it to Vercel so that this app will be live. So let's start with just seeing what data we will need. So we will need for sure the character, like the query that we will be using is characters and the results. So we will fetch the characters like here. So we will need name for sure, the ID, because we will be also redirecting the user to the certain page where this ID will be stored. The image, the status. I will try to make the status because some of the characters are alive, some are unknown, and some are dead. So for the dead ones, I will set the image, where is it? Providers, IPX. I will make the grayscale for the characters that are dead, so that we can use some modifiers as well. So we will need the name, image, for sure, status, ID. We will also need the it will be like a character type. Let me just check type, and location and scene, episode maybe. Oh, episode. Okay, location is something bigger, so let's expand it. And yeah, let's say name, and the episode, let's go with name as well. Let's see how this data will look like. So we'll have, I see. So the episode is an array of episodes where this character appeared. So maybe we won't use it. We'll just go with the location. Okay, so we have name, image, status, ID, type, and location. So it seems that this human is something different than type. So let's try to check what it is. So if it's not type, then maybe species. Species, okay. So I think we have all the data we needed. And for the certain character page, we will be just displaying the same data because we actually don't need anything more specific. When implementing this certain page, I will also check what data we can have from the character by a certain ID. Okay, so what now? Let's jump into the project, and first things first, let's install the Nuxt Apollo module so that we can use Apollo to connect to this API. Okay. In the meantime, I will also add the modules here. So the module was installed. I will add the modules here. And what next? We need to add the Apollo client configuration right below this one. So we have Apollo clients, and the default client we will be using for our request. With the HTTP endpoint, it won't be /x. We will use the one right here, but without the hash at the end. So this one. Okay, so it seems to be working. Let's go further. Let's just copy this code here and just see what we can get from the simple GraphQL API or GraphQL query, sorry. Okay, so this is highlighted as red, but don't worry, this will be auto-imported by the app.vue plugin for Nuxt, for AnJS in more particular, to be more specific. And what we have here, so we won't be querying get ships. I think we can just copy the query from here and just name it something else instead. So we will go this one and query, we will say get products, get characters, sorry, like this. And we won't be using any variables. It will be just calling the query. And for now, let's just see what the data is. So we will go p, and inside of it, we'll just say, show me the data. And yeah, so go yar dev. And let's see in the browser. Okay, so we have some data here. Let me just quickly check what it's inside. So we have characters results, and this first object ends probably, where is it? I think here. Okay, so we have name, image, status, ID, species, location, with a name and the type and location, but we'll just use the name. And yeah, so I think we have all the data needed. So what we'll do right now is we will also install the TailwindCSS so that we can add some styling as well to our app, because we will be building some components for these cards, character cards, and also for the product image. And yes, so let's add this module to our modules array to register it like this. And yeah, I think that's it for the module to make it work. Let's just see if that works. So in here, I will say class font or text XL and just yarn dev. yeah, it works. So the Tailwind is connected. Yes, so going further, we have the Tailwind installed. We won't be needing this documentation anymore. Let's just install the image module so that we can start building our components. Let's take the name of this module so that we can register it here. And yes, so in order to process the image that we are getting from this GraphQL API, this one over here, we need to add this in the IPX domains. So we'll go to configuration, and in here you have the step about domains, because otherwise you will get an error that you cannot optimize or process the images that are from different domain. So we will add this one to our config here, and as a domain we will just say this one, Rick and Morty API, but without HTTPS. We don't need it here, we just need the domain. Okay, what next? Let's check if we have something else to do here. I don't think so. Okay, so I think we can now start to build our components. There won't be that many, I think maybe 1 or 2, but let's start. So new folder, components, and inside we will just say CharacterCard.vue. And in here, what we will do is we'll create a Vue component. So we will say script lang ts and setup as well. And below that, I will say template, because we'll be using some HTML as well. So in here, what we will do, for sure we need to use the props, because we will be passing some props to our character card. So const props equals define props. It will be an object. So what props will we have? So we will have the name, image, status, ID. So name, which will be of type of string, and it will be required true. And next it was image, type string as well, and required true. Status, ID, species. Status, ID, species, and what else? Location. Is it correct? Species, location. Yeah, location. It's the last location. And let's say that they will all be just a string. Yeah, so I will close that up. So we have the props defined, and going further. So we will have the div here that will be a wrapper around our character card. And inside we will have two sections. One which will have the image on the left and the section on the right. So we will be using the Nuxt Image component from the Nuxt Image module to make to process the image. So we will say Nuxt Image here, and the second will be div, and inside this div we will have all these properties. So we will have for sure the h3, let's say, with the name, or we can even say already the name. And below that we will have the status So we say p and it will be status, and the same for species and locations. You can even say location here. We'll parse it on the main component, main page. So it was status, species, and location. Status, species, and location. Just like this for now. And in here, in this Nuxt image, we will say src, and it will be image. Okay, so we have our component. I will work with the styles a bit later. So I think we can close this for now. And in here, what we could do is we could, instead of this one, we can just say, let's just create a wrapper div around them. So CharacterCard, we don't need to import it because it will be auto imported by the Nuxt. And we will just say here v4 and characters in data, results, and characters, I believe. Characters, results. So data, characters, results, the other way. Like this. And we have an error here because in this use async query by default has a unknown type, as you can see here. So we can create a custom type so that it won't complain. So let's go to type characters results, and it will have the characters results, and the results will be let's just say an array of empty objects. We don't need that many typings here as much. So let's go here and just say this. So we have data, characters, and the results. Yeah, so we need the key to differentiate different components. So it will be, let's just name it to singular, character.id. Okay, so we can create this. ID will be a, let's say string, and the name will be string, the image string, status, and the species and location. Species string, species here is string as well, species string, and the location will be an object with the name, and the name will be a string. So right now we shouldn't have issues with the TypeScript. So for the props, let's open this component here so it will be easier to scan what props we need to pass. So we have the name. So the name will be equal to character.name. The image will be equal to character.image. Character and the image here. The status status will be character.status, and species equals character.species, and the location will be character.location.name. In here we can make it a bit simpler. So instead of just saying character here, we can just create an object or just destructure the certain properties that we need. So instead we can just say this, and this. So right now we don't need any of those. Yeah, so let's save it and see if it works. Yarn dev. Okay, so it seems that it works. It doesn't look great for now, but we are fetching the data and it's displaying it right here. Let's quickly check how it looks in the HTML structure. So as you can see here, we have the image, but this image is proxied through the IPX. So it will be modified. So for example, right now, if we haven't passed the ID here. ID equals ID. So right now here in the CharacterCard, where we have the Nuxt image, so apart from the fact that it's proxied there, we can also apply some modifiers. So in here, we can just say modifiers, which will be an object, and we can say gray scale equals true. So right now all the images are grayscaled, and it can be done by using the default IPX provider. You can do similar stuff with Cloudinary, Contentful, Storyblock, and other digital asset management systems. But I won't be using it for now. Let's just go again here, and let's just say that we want this to be flex, so that we have all them by side. It doesn't look great yet. So in here, we will say that this div, which is like a wrapper around all of this, we want this and this to be flex as well. So class and flex. Okay, so the text disappeared, probably because it's hidden by another one. Yeah. So we will also add some margin. So R3. Not enough. So let's go here and flex wrap. Okay, bit better. Let's here create a background. So bg gray 300 and rounded XL, so that it will have a bit of a round corner. This image is too big, so I will modify it, but not by using the CSS like the Tailwind. I will be just passing the values here. So I will say width, let's say 200, and height also 200. So they're a bit smaller. What else? Okay, this name doesn't seem to be like H3. Okay, it is. So let's change it to H2 instead. Okay, I think I need to, it can be h3, but it needs a class of text XL. Yeah. So let's go here and add status, species, and location. Just save it. So we have alive, human, earth as the location. I will also add a bit, maybe let's add merging to all instead of just one. Okay, this image is not rounded, so let's do it right now. Rounded XL, and let's add this here. Rounded XL. Okay, a bit better. What else we could do here? As I mentioned, we could, yeah, we can add a bit of spacing here as well. So let's add it. So let's say class margin 3 as well. Let's see how it works. It looks quite good, I would say. Let's add a bit of margin here as well to the header. So MB B3 as well. So you have a little bit of a spacing between the H and the other like statistics of a certain character. Yeah, let's add this status. If status equals that, we will make the image grayscaled. So modifiers and gray scale, and we will say status equals, and it's that, I believe, that, yeah, that. Okay. For some reason, all the images are grayscaled because of the status. Let me check. Inspect view. Let's check the first character that says it's alive. Status is alive. Okay, maybe let's make it a computed property instead. So below that, const is alive, or is that maybe computed props.status equals that. What happens if I pass this one? Ah, I see. So even if we pass a grayscale false, it will still result to true. That's strange. Okay. Let's maybe do something different instead. So what happens if I pass the empty object, for example, here? Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's create a computed const gray scale when that. Also props for great naming convention. Computed. So if props.status equals that, then we will create this object with modifiers equals true, else we will just return an empty object. And let's try this here. It doesn't work. Okay. Why? this one supposed to have the value true. Okay, status dead. Because I set it to modifiers, not grayscale. Scale. Oh, now it works. So right now, when we have a character that is the status is dead, it's grayscaled, and it was modified by the Nuxt Image and in particular the IPX provider. I don't think we need to do anything else here because it's not a crash course on Tailwind CSS. I would just add a NuxtLink here so that when we click on the certain character card, it will redirect us to another page that will be maybe just the same character card but with the data from different GraphQL API, GraphQL query. So let's wrap it up with the NuxtLink. So we will say NuxtLink, and we will say this, and we will copy this inside of this NuxtLink, and inside this NuxtLink we will say 2, and we will say pages, let's do this, /pages/ I would use the backticks instead because we will be adding the ID and ID. Let's see. So you have pages 7. Okay, not pages, let's say characters. These links won't work yet because we don't have the characters, but we will add them in a second. Okay, so let's create a pages folder, pages, and inside of it create a folder called characters. And inside this characters, let's create a file id.vue. And in here, let's use the script setup lang equals ts and the template as well. And in here, use const root equals use root. And let's just for now do p here, or maybe a div, and just say root.params.id, and let's see if it works. It will fail because we don't have the page index here in the pages, so we will just go index.vue and move the logic from here to this index like this, and the app.vue we can just remove the whole logic here and just leave it as the Nuxt page, and it should work right now. Yeah, it works. So what will happen if we go to, let's say, Morty Smith? We'll go to the characters too, and we have the ID of the certain character. So right now, what we'll do is we will just fetch the similar data, but for the certain character. So we will go with the character, and instead of results, we will just, I think this should work. Let's see, character, and it needs an argument ID. So let's go with this and see if it works. Yeah, we have Morty Smith. So let's copy this query. I will copy it to here for now. from here, I will copy this line here, and in here I will just replace this query here, get characters, to get character. And this ID will be the ID that we will be getting from the root params ID. Let's remove this for now, we will add it in a minute. And yeah, root params.id. Let's see if it works. It doesn't, okay. Okay, now it works. So basically we don't need to send the variables, we can just do it like this. It took me a while. Okay, so right here, what we'll do instead of just going this, I will just copy the code from here, the CharacterCard, and I will not use this one. And the key is not needed as well. And we will just use the data. So it is data.character. Data.character. Like this. And this, and this. And in here we can just add the simple typings as well. So we will say type character equals, and it will be what? Character, and it will be a let's say and key string. The other way. Key will be ane and string ane. String. Just like this, and let's add it here. Or object with the name should be string. Let's go like this. Okay, so not, maybe not. Let's go with name string, image string, status string, ID string, species string, and the location, which will be an object with the name string, like this. Does not exist on type location. Yeah. And let's see in the browser. Yeah, so we have the character card here, and it's also a link as well. Yes, so we have the app running, and we see both the dead, alive, and the list as well of all the characters. So this simple app was like an example of how we can use the Apollo module here, the Tailwind module, and the Nuxt Image module as well in this simple application. So the final step would be to just deploy it to Vercel and see if it works. So let me just quickly add all git commit build app, and let's push it. And in here we will just add a new project. I will use the GitHub and the Nuxt Apollo Tailwind. It will be framework preset Nuxt, and the root directory will be / build and output. I think we can go with the Okay, so the deployment was done and the app is live. So let's see it. Yeah, so we have the list of the characters, and when we click on a certain one, it will open that certain one in the page here. So that will be it for the video. Let me know in the comments whether you like this format or not, and see you next time. Bye.